Okay. Ooh, 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 ooh. Let me. Still Quan. Long live Quan. I'm a bad boy, but I don't wear big clothes like Mace. Trying to do this live thing again. Be consistent, remain consistent. At least get it off of me. So I feel a little better about life. I don't know. But for those who did actually watch the first one, I thank you. Even if you liked it and didn't watch it, I appreciate you too. But it'd be really cool to know that you watched it. If you did watch it, let me know what you thought, what I need to do better at, how I can fix it. um, I low key ended it saying that I was gonna go ahead and jump into like 2018. I'm like, yo, I don't know if I'm jumping to 2018 because that's skipping a lot of activity. And I'm like, just summing it up. And that ain't really what I'm here to do. Hey, yo, yeah, appreciate you for joining. Ain't really what I'm here to do. I really want to break down like all the stuff I've been through, kind of like really tell my life and my story. And so after the medicine got involved into the situation, I was still having seizures, so it wasn't like, oh, the medicine hopped in, you know what I'm saying, it made things better, and I was all good. Nah, not at all. It was maybe 2016. I had a seizure at work on the clock. As soon as I clocked in, boom, immediately start seizing. You know what I'm saying? And my manager was my homegirl. Like, we were tight. And so, like, she, you know what I'm saying, she knew my mom's number. She knew my people. She knew where I lived. And she knew all the information she needed to know to make sure I was straight. So, and then I had another seizure, but it wasn't at my store. I was out in Newark, Ohio, which is about 45 minutes from Columbus. Dog, I had a seizure at this store where none of the employees really know me. I ain't really talking to them to get to know them because I'm there just as a fill-in trying to help out. So I really don't really care to know these people. But that's why I start being a little more vocal and telling people like, yeah, I'm epileptic. These are my preferences. Don't call the paramedics because the bill will be $1,200 plus or more. And I ain't really trying to pay that bill just for them to tell me that uh, I'm okay. Or they're going to ask me a series of questions to give me further trauma because I'm going to get to that here in a second. I'm going to tell you how that visit goes when they pull up with the ambulance. So, but yeah, I was in Newark and I had a seizure helping out a customer. And boom, I guess I fell backwards and I hit my head on their safe that they had. And a concussion, of course, with dead weight. Because when you have a seizure, I don't know if you're familiar, but when you have a seizure, it immediately becomes dead weight, like a drunk person passed out. Like, and so y'all know that's trash. So, there you go. Boom. That worked out. And so, yeah. And so, boom, fell dead weight onto the safe. And it's just like, yo, I didn't know what was going on. I woke up in a hospital in Newark. And they telling me my mom was on the way. And they had my manager on the phone. Not my manager, but her manager on the phone. You know, some upper management type joint. And he already had my workers' comp case started and whatnot. He did everything he needed to do proactively, and I really appreciate that. But it was just like, wow, because it's just like, I'm out here in Newark, almost an hour away from home. I ain't really got no help, no support. And now they don't know who to call. I don't know these people don't know me. And so, that was trauma. That was traumatic. Definitely traumatic just because it's just like, okay, this is something I really have to take serious and be really cautious because I have no idea what the hell is causing this. I don't have an aura like I mentioned before, so I don't know when it's coming on. So yeah, it was just like, we gotta figure this out, Brody. But oh yes, the paramedics. So it's a little, the sun is getting a little warm out here, and I try to lay my edges down and whatnot, whatever. But the paramedics, when you have a seizure, and you're not conscious, and they arrive, they're going to continuously ask you various questions to make sure you're coherent and that you're with us in today. And if you're not with us in today, then they got to take you. But most of the time, I have been with us. And so the furthest question I had, like the furthest wrong answer I had was when, and this goes into the next next little piece, my next seizure, when I had a seizure driving, and the paramedics came, checked me out, whatnot, and they're asking me, like, do you know what year it is? Do you know who's the president? And I'm like, shit, Barack Obama? But Donald Trump was the president at the time. And so they like, shit, that's good enough. So you good. Like, we're going to release you to your people. They're going to drive your car. And I wasn't too far from home. So, like, God is good. Like, I didn't hit nobody. No one's property was damaged. No human or animals were injured in the process of me seizing. But I did jump the curb and, like, hop into their yard and have a seizure. And the shit was wild. Like, because... And again, me and my manager was tight. That was my homegirl. Like, that was one of my best friends, one of my really good friends. And she knew, like, I'm really good. I have really great work ethic. And so she knew, like, once it was certain time, like, yo, Ty usually here, so let me holler at her, let me call her. She tried to call me, didn't get no answer. She said something in her, told her to just come to my house because I live like 2 minutes away from the job. So she drove over to my house. And she said, en route, she saw my car. She's like, fuck. She already knew what time it was. And so it was more or less going into that next segment. Like, maybe that was 17. I honestly don't know. Like, they just all blur together. But, yeah, she pulled up on the scene. Then made sure my mom was called again. Because my mom and them, again, seconds away from the house, and they don't even know I had a seizure. I'm in somebody's yard. I drove up in their yard, and they don't even realize that I had a seizure. And so she calls my mom and them, make sure that they're aware. They come to the scene, make sure everything is good. They get my car. And, yeah, it was kind of just her being, like, her following and her intuition was the idea that it's kind of like protecting me, because honestly they thought I was a drunk driver at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the morning. And so yeah, that was another time. And so that's what I'm saying. I almost try to skip past the different parts where I actually had seizures and it was like life changing, life altering. I don't want to skip ahead to too many ones before, because I did, due to it being homecoming season this morning, I'm like, just thinking, I had a seizure at homecoming, and I was still kicking it. Like, I had a seizure at homecoming, yo. So we had homecoming, kicking it cool. I think it was Friday. Went to the guy's house, you know what I'm saying? I was chilling with my guys, so fell asleep over there, and woke up, boom. I already had my bags in my car, because homecoming vibes is like, I be knowing where I'm staying, but shit, if I end up staying somewhere else, I just have a bag with me just in case type vibe. Like, I need to still get dressed, still shower, still need to be ready for the turn up. So cool. Had the bag in the car, hopped in the shower that morning, and it's a house full of guys. It's like maybe 3 or 4 guys in the house. And I'm in the shower while they all sleeping, kind of hungover or whatnot. Boom, boom, boom. They said they heard something just like, sound like I just like fucked up their whole bathroom type shit. And of course, I don't know what's going on, but I come back too, and they didn't call the paramedics. I'm very, very grateful they didn't call the paramedics, because again, they saved me $1,200+. I don't want the paramedics called just for them to yell at me and ask me a lot of questions and leave me. So yeah, my guys, they talked me through it. They got me out the shower, butt ass naked and all, put me on some clothes or whatnot. I had a fresh wrap in. This is before my locks, so I was saucy as hell. I had a fresh wrap, and so like my hair was y'all see these little pieces right here? That was my whole hair for the rest of the weekend because it was homecoming weekend. And ain't nobody trying to do nobody's hair during homecoming. I ain't gonna inconvenience like that because of my own medical shit. So, needless to say, they got me together and good and was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what happened? They like, you had like, we heard a noise. We came to the bathroom and you was on the floor passed out. Like, we think you had a seizure. I'm like, I probably did down there. Like, that's crazy. But shit, I still got up, ate some food, hydrated, kept drinking, and was just like, all right, bet. We still going, I don't want to stop living my life because of this. Like, especially when I don't know what the root of it, and I still don't know what the root of it is today. And so, but yeah, I did not want to skip that. I did have a seizure during homecoming. That was a time, and I still did get to enjoy my homecoming season that year. Yeah, I had like maybe 2 seizures behind the wheel. One of them did cause an accident to total out my car. So I am super grateful. God guided me and, you know, protected me through the seizure. Leaving work at like midnight, working again at the airport in Columbus. My job was located at airport in Columbus, and so I was working at there, and we got off at like midnight, left out, and it was a real badass snowstorm. Shit was crazy, and I was driving down that back road. I was driving down the back road at the airport, and I blacked out. And so I have a few different type of seizures. I think I mentioned it in the first video, but again, if y'all ain't watch it, y'all don't know. Please watch it if you didn't. But I had a seizure in my first video. I didn't have an aura, but I have absentee seizures, and I have grand mal seizures, and I have sleeping seizures. And so I had an absentee seizure while I was driving, and I come back to, and shit, my car is sliding into the damn guardrails, and like there's nothing I can do. I try to turn out to the widest turn, due to physics. So like, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to turn out to make it the widest turn so I wouldn't bang into the guardrails, but it didn't make it because of the ice and whatnot. And so, yeah, I had a seizure behind the wheel a few different times. I don't know why. My neurologist never took my driver's license, but I am grateful because most of my career has involved the requirements of driving license and a driving record. So I'm just grateful for that. But yeah, I didn't want to jump ahead too far. I feel like it was one more like super mad. So that was 16, that was 17, and 18. 18, I had another seizure. It wasn't as chaotic. It was just kind of like a regular seizure, but it was more or less just like, I started realizing it was built up stress, lots and lots of built up stress. And so, you know, my job was very stressful. And towards the end, it was maybe August 2018, my job put me in a situation where it was like my loyalty or the job. And at that time, like, the job's obviously making me sick. It's obviously very stressful. And so I was over it. And so I saved my friend's job, and she still kept her job after that. I saved my friend's job and lost my job due to that. But I was already in a depression. I was already in a depressive state, so I didn't care. Didn't give a fuck. Hey, sis. Love you. Hey, T. Thank you for the hearts and roses if you're still in here. But yeah, I didn't give a fuck about my job. I was falling into depression. I was sleeping all day, drinking on the clock. I just didn't care. And so, yeah, 2018, once I lost my job, it didn't give me no reason to get up and shit. So I'm just like, shit, I'm really sleeping all day. So I wasn't really drinking like that, like, but I'd be sleep all day, like dark ass room, no windows, just sleep, lock myself in a cage type vibes. And it that wasn't even something I realized that was happening until years later, of course. But it definitely played a role just because it was just like overwhelming. It was like one medical sickness after another. I went from just kind of, you know, being a regular person, graduating college, trying to get into the career, trying to get into the business world and career fields and different stuff like that, to taking medicine to having my retina almost detaching, and if my retina completely detached, that does cause blindness. And so I had to get my retina reattached, and it just seemed like it was always one thing after another. It caused a very stressful state in my mind, and I became depressed in like 2018. 2019, I don't want to jump ahead too fast because I don't want to get to 21. And so 2019, I had started in a job. I went through that year of depression, like real severe depression, like kind of peaking depression for me at that time. I went through that state where I was just like more sleep, nothing else, no anxiety or nothing, just like I don't want to be bothered, anti as hell. And 2019, I started a new job, and I had a seizure that day getting ready for work. And and most of my houses we lived in, it's always a bathroom, two full bathrooms, or a bath and a half. So that particular home we had, it was a bath and a half. And so I'm using the half bath, the restroom. And so, just peeing, brush my teeth, whatnot, morning routine type thing. And so I went there to go use the restroom, and I had a seizure on the toilet. And unfortunately, my nephew has been like present through a lot of my seizures, as well as my sister. And so I had a seizure in the shower at home, and my sister had to caught it and heard me falling in the shower at home. And so it's been a lot of chaotic different times where it's just been like, I don't want that type of trauma for my nephew to experience on a consistent basis and not be sure about his auntie's well-being. And so, that really kind of hit this spot. But to God be the glory, since 2019, that has been my last convulsion to my knowledge. Like I said, I do have sleeping seizures, so I'm not certain if I've had any while sleeping. But for the most part, I haven't had another grand mal seizure since September 2019. So just kind of always keep that in my pocket as a gratitude, a prayer of gratitude and gratefulness. But trying to just be better and find better for me and be healthy. 2019, I started working and trying to figure it out, walk myself through all the different things, because I didn't feel like I was ready for the help. I wasn't being receptive to the help, any therapy outlets or any other additional outlets outside of medication. I was just like, I don't want to do that. That's not for me. And it was just really a mind state where I was at, like, just not ready to be healed, not ready to open up, not ready to be vulnerable. And I recognize that now, of course, but at that time it was just like, therapy don't work for me type energy, and that's all I thought. And they wasted my time, and they ain't trying to hear what I want to talk about. And even outside of the seizures, it was like 17. I went to the corner store, and I just feel like with my medicine, I already know. Like, I've talked to doctors. Doctors tell me my medicine causes different type of mood swings. It causes high anxiety. It causes just like a lot of negative traits. And so with that, it's just like, damn, looking back, it's a lot of stuff I could have prevented from walking away. But it's also like, damn, bruh, I got in a lot of messed up situations, and then folks ain't even back down. And I know that's some like, I'm trying to hold you type vibe, or like I'm trying to punk you, but like, no, like when I was at a corner store one day, dude was on some weird stuff, and we like going back and forth, and I did something I shouldn't have done. I knocked over a couple things, and he came from around the counter, and that nigga started bamming on me. And I'm like trying to fight back as much as I can, but dude was probably a solid 300 pounds, 6'3". I'm like, any Muslim and shit, so he like don't give a fuck about whooping on women. And so like it be stuff even outside of just like my medical conditions, just like the way things line up. It's like it be wild. And so 2019, I told you I ain't trying to shoot past 2021, because like those was this going forward, it became big. And so, like, but yeah, 2019, got into a new job, started working there. I wasn't the happiest or best job I wanted, but it was still like helping me get out the house and rebuild myself and reestablish my courage and my confidence. And so it helped reestablish some confidence for me. But yeah, and then 2020 came around, and I mean, that was a whirlwind for the world. So, of course, I was caught up in a twister. I found myself, drinking more just because, shit, what you else to do? Like, the liquor stores was open. Like, you know what I'm saying? My man's is going to get his money for his bottle. So, yeah, the liquor store was open, so I was drinking and whatnot. But I was still at this job and just trying to figure out what's my next step. What am I going to do? And it became me questioning myself to the point where I found self-hatred. Like, I wasn't where I wanted to be or doing what I wanted to do. And it wasn't liberating. It felt like confinement in my mental confinement, and I wasn't, I didn't know how to deal with that. And again, I was not ready for therapy. I was not ready to talk to people, and I was not even ready to like vocalize it even to my friends or family. Like, I ain't no vulnerable type. I'm not a vulnerable type of person, and so um, it's very rare that I open up even to this magnitude. And so that's why I decided to even do this, because I wanted to start opening up and be vulnerable and tell people, like, these are the reasons. Like, I ain't saying like these are reasons why I act like this, because as we progress, I'm in therapy, I'm trying to heal myself, I'm trying to be a better woman, okay? But it is like a part of my journey, and that's meaningful, because our journey matters, and we can be in a healing process of our journey, but to know where the root of all evil comes from is a great starting point for individuals and for people you care about. So like, like I said, I try to make them just like 30-minute videos. I don't want to take them too much time, just because yeah, I don't want to take up too much time. But other than that, like, it's just more or less, I'm going to try to, again, gather next Saturday around noon, do a little another 30 minutes. But yeah, when I get 2020 life turns up for me. It gets a little wild. It gets a little chaotic. And then I'm going to try to do 2020 to 2022 so yeah, depression to stroke, depression, epilepsy to stroke is pretty much where we going next. Like, and so, yeah, a lot of it, my strength, and a lot of the smile today comes from my family, from my sisters, from my mama, from the support I have from my core four. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my girls always, and my guys, because I don't want to never forget about my guys. But yeah, I'm go ahead. I appreciate, those who did tune in. What up, though? Mike Tell Brody. Appreciate everybody who did check it out. If you didn't see the full thing, try to watch. Try to watch, see a little bit of my life, my story, of what's like, how it's a tumultuous process. It's definitely a tumultuous process. It's not like you have a seizure and okay, you get up and go. No, I have a seizure, and it takes me about 3 days to get physically healed, to have the energy to even 2 to 3 days, to get that physical for me as an individual. Now, other people may watch and they may be like, that bitch lying, but for me, it takes me about 2 to 3 days for my body to physically heal back to feeling 100% worth of energy. And so it's definitely a tumultuous process and tumultuous disorder, or whatever they're putting it under, disability. But I do my best with the medicine that I have, and I do my best with God. I'm trying to make sure that God leads my life, and that I just try to be rooted in Him, because I mean, But yeah, sorry for the interruption. I thought I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Obviously, niggas still calling. But yeah, I was gonna say to subscribe, but watch my first video. Try to catch my this video in full. But yeah, I don't feel like I'm doing my story justice, so I'm definitely gonna try to next week come with some notes, come with a lot more details, because like I said, I'm A to B type person. Like, this is what happened. I don't really need to know the details. And so I need to give more imagery. And so I will, continue this. Again, this is my second time going live on a platform. So I ain't really used to just talking to myself and people watching. So again, this is my life, my story about how I am going through the process of epilepsy and any other medical conditions I've lived through and survived. It hits home a lot just because I really want to jump to it, because like every time I talk to a doctor, it's like I talked to a doctor on Wednesday this past week, and I told him my medical history, and he said to me, "Ty, oh my God, I really can't believe you're alive. Like, my goodness." And so, like, to hear that every time is so heartbreaking, just because it's like it's not anything that makes me proud, like, to make me feel like a survivor. Like, oh, I'm here. Like, the only thing that drives me when I hear that is, like, God has a plan. God has a reason. And so, that's all I could think about, because other than that, it really pisses me off for them to tell me that they can't believe I'm here, like, because I can't believe it either, like, and I don't want to hear that. That's not a statement of compliment. And so I do my best to tell them that's not a statement of compliment without being an asshole. But nonetheless, it's been over 30 minutes, and so I do apologize for taking up your time this Saturday afternoon-ish, morning, whoever, depends on whatever type of person you are, depending on what type of morning, afternoon starts for you. But thank you, T. I'm doing my best, and I definitely would appreciate your criticism and your feedback, whatever you have for me. Like, I want to do my best to, like you said, to try to help people. Like, I want to be transparent to help people, because depression is real, anxiety is real, suicidal ideology is real, epilepsy is real, medical conditions is real. Like, we have to be sensitive to each other. We have to love on each other. And we just have to appreciate those who aren't as transparent, because we may know they're going through a little bit of something, but we're not always most definite with everything they're going through. And so you just want to give people grace. Give people the grace you would want to have. And so I'm going to end it there. This is my life, my story, part 2. And so I'm going to do another part 3, of course, next Saturday. So other than that, y'all go watch your football games, and whoever your team is, shout out to them. Hope they win, except for T in Michigan. Other than that, that's all I got. T, Michigan, y'all gonna lose again. So I hope you caught that message. Catch that T. You hear me? Y'all have a good Saturday. Love y'all. Yo, it's all in the name of love. It's all in the name of love. But again, I'll be back on next Saturday at 12 for another 30 minutes. I'm gonna do 30 minutes next time. Y'all have a good Saturday. Bye.